Hello everybody, my name is Jeff, welcome to my channel. I am a wizard and a doctor. I want to talk about obsessive-compulsive problems. Somebody asked me about this and I was like, yes, I have a lot to say about this. But before that, let's quickly put a frame around what we're going to talk about, because what's in the name? First, I wanted to go on a bit of a rant about, all the diagnoses that people have come up with along the years. And of course, that brings us to the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders, whatever it may be. And I was like looking for another name for it, like the Devil's Statistical Manual for Non-Empathic People, or Demons Sadomasochistic Guide, or something like that. Wanted to go into a rant, but then I decided no, things are more complicated than that. So let's go skip that entire conversation about if you have the correct diagnosis and what does it mean and if it's curable or not. I'm just going to give you some shorthand answers to what I believe, and then you choose if you agree with that or not. You have to make up your own mind. I believe that everything has a reason. So if you are having obsessive-compulsive symptoms or you have OCD, it has a reason, it is curable, you can improve your life. Absolutely, right? Second of all, what was my second one? Oh yeah, why I have this antagonism with the diagnoses of stuff is because science tries to help us by examining large groups of people and then making conclusions from there. So that helps, let's say, a doctor who doesn't know what he's dealing with. So he sees a patient, he sees a list of symptoms. Then this doctor, without the experience that he has, can go to this sort of manual, check off these symptoms and see, oh, it fits in this or this box. It's a box. It's a box we made, right? It's a box that the statistics made. And then the manual says, in these cases, the best statistic results come from giving this treatment. So this doctor has a guideline to start helping this patient. It's a guideline. It's a helpful framework that we try to use. I believe that you can only really help somebody when you understand their unique story. So let's leave the guideline aside and let's say I'm going to help you by understanding you completely from the framework up, without any other people, because it doesn't really matter in the end, right? But it can help if to put people to keep it going. It's like when you have a disaster, you have to do triage, right? So you quickly have to put people in different boxes so you can continue and you can do the best you can with the least amount of tools available. Wow, feels so serious now, going way too deep into this. So just to say, every solution has everybody has a personal solution, like their own story, and you need to go into your own story to find your own solution, right? And that's why also I do these videos with pick a card. So you choose, I'm going to put 4 cards up, you choose a card, and then it's like we can talk more into a specific direction instead of having to generalize everything, because that's where it gets tricky. Like, let's say a doctor diagnosed you with OCD. You go look at videos about OCD, you might get you're going to get all these videos about what the statistics has put in the box. This is all we have found about OCD when we look at a large group of people, and that's going to make you feel kind of at home, but at the same time further away from the solution. Now, the third thing tip I want to give you before we start with this is if you really want to understand why you're having these certain problems, look at animals. Go to YouTube, look at cats that have behavioral problems, like especially like look at animals like dogs and cats and stuff that have abandonment issues, the behavior they show, or when they're in distress, what kind of behavior they have. It's very OCD, and looking at that will make you understand better that these animals, because when you're looking at it, like let's say you have a cat and she has severe abandonment anxiety. So when the owner leaves, you have these videos, it's heartbreaking, like hold your heart when you watch it. You see this cat like make the most like very intense sounds, pacing around, taking its animal, going into places, but just like restless, doing behavior, pulling its own hairs out. Trichotillomania, I think it's called, or is that when you eat it? I don't know. and you wouldn't look at that cat and say, she has OCD. I've took a list of all the symptoms. She has OCD. We're gonna give her an antidepressant and then some cognitive behavioral therapy and see what happens. No, we don't do that. And a good cat trainer will have that problem fixed in a couple of weeks by just adjusting how the owner handles the cat, right? So the cat is reacting in a normal way, because you see other animals react the same way to stressful situations. So and the way I look at obsessive-compulsive problems, in my experience, my short experience as a doctor, I've rarely seen, maybe one or two people that actually had the diagnosis OCD. I think I've seen one patient who had Tourette syndrome, like actual Tourette syndrome. And even then, I feel like it's no different from all the other, in all the other cases where I've seen it. Because in most cases where I see obsessive behavior, compulsive behavior is with addicts, manic people, depressed people, borderline. In every other situation, these behaviors come up. So these are more symptoms. It's coping, it's maladaptation. Now, what is a bit of an annoying problem with OCD maybe is that there is, I think, two components, and that there's this emotional side, maybe. There's an emotional healing that needs to happen, where an emotion, could be anything. But a problem that also happens is that these wires, these get crossed and sort of behavior in our body gets trained. So these are like symptoms. No matter how we feel about it, the electricity runs that way. So we have trained our body to react in a certain way. We have trained our brain to react in a certain way, to see things as alarm symptoms or whatever, right? So there is a big part in retraining yourself, you know, and that's step-by-step work always. Because, you know, it's like you just need to learn yourself different reflexes. But you can't really do that, and that's the tricky part. You're gonna have a hard time stopping yourself from doing this obsessive-compulsive behavior or thinking when you do not take away the cause. Because if you don't do something about the cause, or you don't help yourself understand why, and you give yourself other tools to pick up the same function, you're not going to get rid of this, because they have a function. This behavior for you has a function, no matter how damaging it is, how illogical it seems, how obviously damaging it is. For you, it has a function, and you need to find out what that is before you're going to get rid of it, because you need to understand yourself. And that's what it's all about. That brings me sort of back to the beginning, why it's a bad idea to go into this generalized group of, oh, I have this syndrome, and then I follow these general steps. You need to figure out for yourself what is the cause of this behavior. I think, my personal opinion, that this always circles around powerlessness. lack of control. There's a huge danger. You have no way to control it. So we cope with that by putting extra control on what we can control, right? So let's say you're in a powerless situation and there's nothing you can do about it. You become the things that you can control become really important. That's why we all have had this, where we lose our freaking minds about something so small, so insignificant, that doesn't work. Like we get into our car and the windshield wiper doesn't work or something, and we lose it. We go mental. It's like the drop that spilled the bucket, right? Because it's not about that windshield wiper, it's about the fact that there are big things that are pushing us down that we can't control. And this one thing becomes so important then, because if this also is something that we can't control, then we just sort of feel very, very scared. Very, very scared, okay? So that's always what is at the root of this, is a feeling of unsafety and believing, this is a big part of it, believing that you are powerless to change certain things, or that you are powerless to make yourself feel safe. Now again, what the problem is, you come into this retraining mode of like you've trained your body, your mind, maybe a long time to think a certain way or to believe certain things. So there is a skewed, a warped reality sense, okay? Now, before we go into the cards, let's quickly break it down. OCD, we have obsession, we have compulsion. Obsession is obsessive thinking about something. It's like you can't let it go. You keep wondering about it. You keep bringing it up. Obsessive, right? Like a schoolgirl in love, obsessive. And these are intrusive thoughts. That's important. These are intrusive thoughts. So it's like no matter what you're thinking, no matter, let's say you're doing open heart surgery, these thoughts push themselves to the foreground as if it was the most important thing ever. Like it's very intrusive. And then you have the compulsive part, which is you can't stop yourself from doing certain actions. You have to scratch, you have to pull, you have to have had a certain movement. You have to have your hands washed in a certain way. It's where you feel compulsed, like you have to, like, and there's always a feeling of something bad is going to happen if I don't. Or, usually something like that. But it's very different, right? And then you have the third component, which is important with the diagnosis, or like how to know what you're dealing with. This is an important factor, is the self-awareness part. When you have obsessive thoughts and compulsive behavior, there is a magical thinking that's happening, or not magical thinking, just a logic in your brain that doing these behaviors makes things safer for you or prevents bad things from happening, or is important. There is a logic in your brain that says, maybe it's illogical, but emotional, there's this connection of, if I step on the line there, something bad is going to happen to me later, or there's this belief. And either a person can see that is maybe true or maybe untrue. And that's a reasonable to good insight. When somebody can see, I have this logical thinking and it could be true, it could be not true. I don't know. They can have an objective look at the situation. They can see, oh, maybe it's true, maybe it's not true, maybe I'm wrong there. And then there are people who don't have that, who really believe it. When you tell them, no, that's not true, if you walk on the line, it's fine, they're like, no, you don't know. And there's no room for doubt or for maybe this is not true, I'm not sure. When there's no more room for doubt, then it becomes difficult, because then there's a lack of self-awareness, or maybe insight that maybe you are sick or wrong here, right? So that's an important factor that always comes into diagnosis. Oh, my armpits are sweaty. Jeez. So let's go into the cards, then I can put the camera off my face. I'm going to pull 4 cards out from this PlayStation card deck, and you'll see why. These are the most minimalist, tight cards I have. I think that's appropriate. I'm going to put 4 cards up. You choose the card that stands out to you, that speaks to you, and then you go to the timestamps in the description box, comment section, and then we'll talk a bit more personalized about what's happening to you. Yeah? I shuffled these beforehand. 4 cards, please. 4. No. See, it's like a beautiful example about sort of compulsivity is when I'm shuffling. Like this is what every reader will have when you're shuffling. There's this feeling of no, yes, or no, or you count. Sometimes I get a number. It's like 42, 42. There's no logic. There's no reason there. There's just a sort of blind faith in myself that my subconscious knows what it's doing. Right? That's an agreement that I have with myself. There's an awareness that I have that maybe this is true, maybe this is not. Like, or maybe there's another reason. Maybe there's another explanation. A big part of magic is choosing to ignore a certain set of logic and forgetting. But conscious forgetting, right? It's not like you don't become blind for maybe I'm wrong, right? But forgetting is always an important part. And also, maybe this is the last tip, emotional healing doesn't follow logic. You can't think your way out of it. I'm so sorry, you can't. It's illogical. You are building on different layers in yourself at different ages. And when you're 8, you see the world so differently. So when you have old ideas that are unspoken inside of you, that are still coming from this 8 years old emotional mind, they're completely illogical. But in your brain, it doesn't feel that way, right? That's why magic helps. Okay? So if you're still with me, thank you. Let's go with your cards. I have here this square. No, on the cards now. Come on, yeah, I think it works. So I have this pink square. I have these 4 pink little squares. Card number 2. Card number 3 is this 9. And then card number 4 is Jack of triangles. I really don't name the symbols here. It always is different for me. So I like these cards. So these are the 4 cards to choose from. Choose the card that appeals to you the most, or that speaks to you the most, or that your eye keeps falling on, or where you feel something annoys you. This is card number 1. This is card number 2. This is card number 3. Card number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to the timestamp description box, comment section, and then you will begin your reading. Okay. 1. This, so I remember. So group number 1, you have this king of squares. Put everything in a nice little box. Very clean card, tidy. Everything is in order. Okay. Another card. I've got these 3 triangles. I think it's for me planning. Looking in the future, a lot of looking in the future, a lot of planning, thinking 2, 3 steps ahead at all times. Got these 9 squares. That's for me about security, safety, comfort, home. Security, comfort, home. Okay, and I've got this king, triangle. And this last one that came out in 2 here. Regrets. Okay. So group 1, what I story that I'm finding out here. This camera is a bit, holder is a bit busted, so it keeps. Get this right here, okay. So I know, but like since we're in the obsessive-compulsive video, like some extra time like this. So what I got here is you are very you're very the kind of the story I was just saying here. This is very important for you. Your safety, your security, your home, your comfort. You plan two, 3 steps in ahead. You're very cautious, but mostly it's like you're very planning. A lot of planning, a lot of thinking things out, a lot of thinking things through, thinking all the possible scenarios, really weighing out your options, making safe, secure moves forward. Really strong desire to keep this square strongly square. A lot of planning, and this is really just like thinking. So it's like you know when you have on the video camera recorder, you have like play and then fast forward. Thinking wise, you're in triple fast forward. You're thinking a lot, and because look what happens. You are focused in your goal is this beautiful big square, right? This is sort of what you're aiming for. But in reality, what it comes down to, wait, I'm gonna try to imagine this. What in reality it comes down to, because you're thinking a lot, the reality is not this one beautiful square, it's not this one beautiful fort you have to guard, it's a lot of little boxes, right? It's your home, your money, your health, your safety, transportation, friends, family. It's a lot. So this one simple goal and aspiration turns into this, like a lot of work. And I really want to emphasize the triple forward thinking here, because a part of this simple thing becoming this complicated thing is you. Because you take one idea, let's say, how can I make this safer? You take your incredible brain power and you think of 20 million ways to do it. And the problem is, you think of 20 million ways to do it, and then you choose one maybe to start like doing it. But now you're so aware that there are 19,999,999 other ways that you have not checked off that could also be maybe an unsafe situation or a problem. So it's like the more you check off boxes, the more you're aware that there are possible holes or something, you know, and it's like a never-ending quest here. What that leads up to, guys, is lack of passion. You're not moving forward driven by your passion. You're not driven forward with your eyes on where do I want to go. You're driven by securing this box. And the problem is that from the outside, you are probably a person that really has his shit together. You really have this really solid, right? In a way, you are very successful at this, and you've become very good at that because this is your creed. However, for you, it doesn't feel complete. It never feels complete. I don't know, like, and this is the annoying part. If you want to understand how this became such an important factor for you, that's a story you need to go into for yourself. It could be a lot of things. Right now, however, this has taken over too much. You put so much of your brain power in, and this is what you need to understand, is you have all this brain power and know-how, but there's no, how do I say that? You don't even enjoy the benefits of it that much because you're also so well at looking for new problems or looking ahead on the road and seeing what else obstacles and obstructions may come. So you're already having new empty boxes you need to fill or secure. So you're in a never-ending quest and story without the satisfaction, without the gratification, or without actually reaching this feeling of safety. And I think you need to realize that this is a circle that's never gonna end. You're never gonna reach this full feeling. You are. Let me be careful here. You can absolutely reach what you're aiming for here, but not this way, guys. The way you're going about it is creating an eternal loop, because it's like, and also you need to realize that at the core of this, you are in resistance to allowing this box to be finished, and that has a reason. You will never allow yourself to reach the end goal here. You need to find out why, okay? It's very important. You need to find out, why am I blocking myself from actually feeling safe here? Why can't I? Stop trying to fix it. Stop trying to think ahead. Stop trying to plan, because you are making more problems this way as well. What I would do is take a step back, retreat to a place where you feel really secure without too many loose ends or things in the air. Find that space for yourself. I think also take that break for yourself, because this must be freaking exhausting. Okay? You're fighting. You're constantly fighting. You need to take a break and go deeper into this. You want to fix this problem, you want to feel safe, then you need to become... You have this brain power, then use it the correct way. To rewind. Not to look forward. Either go into the moment where you're now and try to like work from there, or start using that brain power to become more analytical about what the hell is at the fundament of this, where you are reaching for, because somehow you're not looking at it, and it's crazy. You're so smart, you're doing all this work, and you're missing a fundamental thing here that's actually blocking you. And you're missing the passion. You are driven by this and not by where you actually want to go. And that means that you're putting a lot of time and energy into security, or into keeping yourself going, without actually taking steps to the things you actually maybe really want. And that's causing a lot of disappointment here. So you're in this place of security and working a lot and having a lot of boxes checked, and I'm hoping that this goes well for you. I think in most cases it is, but let's an alternative story here, and this is important for the people who are in this. You could be in this vicious cycle without actually, you could be in poverty here, right? This could be so important for you, and you could be driven by it all the time. But when you're in poverty, it's very hard to take a break and to take a moment to see, like, hold up, I'm in a vicious cycle here. And yet it is what you have to do. You have to, and all I'm asking you to do is look back and recognize how many times you've come into the same trap, and how many times when you fix a problem, you create a new one. You need to start recognizing this pattern, that somehow whatever you do, no matter what you do, no matter how you approach it, you keep being in the same loop, in the same problem. That means stop, okay? No matter how bad it looks, stop. Take a second here. Find help with this, okay? Because you're putting so much of your work and brain power into this, and you're not happy. Something is fundamentally off. You need to catch yourself. Get off this train, okay? And this is difficult, guys. That's why I'm saying, find help. There is a deep story here that you need to tell to somebody, and that you need to find out, okay? And I'm telling you that is the way to actually reaching your goal. This does not mean, it feels like a surrender. It feels like you're like, I give up here. Yes, but temporarily, to actually get what you want. Because look, what are you giving up on here? On a repetitive cycle that leads to the same problem with no passion and no happiness. That's what you're giving up. Please, give up. Surrender. What the hell are you fighting for if you keep going to... This is Groundhog's Day. Okay? You surrender to that, then maybe you can pick up a new fight, and maybe that's a fight that's actually going to get you where you want to go. Okay? That's not easy. This is by no means easy. Okay? So if you need to go around this a couple more times to figure it out, do it. You are protected, because you also know that no matter what the problem is, somehow you always keep yourself safe. If you're living in poverty or whatever, this is the magical part. Somehow, no matter what you do, you can't fix this problem, you can't get there, but also, no matter what big problem comes, it never really ends in the worst case scenario. You keep yourself in this fear loop. But nothing ever happens. Recognize that. But it take you a while. And please, 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 don't be hard on yourself. Because you're by no means stupid or silly for doing this, or your hard work has not been for nothing. Okay? This is difficult. And why is this difficult? Because a lot of people, and I assume you've already done this, you've had this standstill moment already a couple of times, where you recognize it, and you want to start addressing this, but then life happens, circumstances happen, and you're back in the same pattern. It's difficult because there's something here that's actually, what is at the core here is driving this. So it's normal that when you start peeking at the core of this, you get this impulse again. This will fight back. That's why you need help here. That's why you need somebody to talk to about this, or somebody to just see this. You need to talk out loud, you need to journal, you need to start unraveling this step by step, okay? There's no hurry here. This is not a one-night work thing. This is about, and as the last I will say, if it kind of seems hopeless, or you have no idea how to start doing this, say out loud, please help me understand this and break this cycle. Please help me. Say it out loud. It works. It works. Okay? Never underestimate the power of your intentions. Never underestimate the power of your subconscious. And never ever underestimate how much better you can feel. Okay? The fact that you're here already means that you are so close to making big improvements. Okay? Because this is difficult stuff. If you're here, then you can talk about this probably as much as I can, probably more. But yeah, like do as I say, not as I do, right? It's always easier from the outside than in your own shoes. So don't be hard on yourself. Keep fighting for you. Ask yourself for help. Ask out loud. It helps. Okay? I wish you all the best. Group 1. Thank you. You can contact me for a private reading via Etsy if you want more to go if you want me to go more specifically into your problem. If you give me a bit of a description of what you're dealing with, I could pull some cards out for you, but maybe I can also give you my advice of where to start looking for help, or how to start tackling this, or maybe how to overcome the first hurdles, into asking for help, because that can be so difficult. Just finding a place where you can step up and say, please help me with this. Finding the right place can be so difficult, because when you start looking for a therapist and you find a couple and they don't work, they don't match, it's difficult, because that happens, and you need to have the balls to say, this isn't working, I'm going to keep looking. That's a difficult horse to get back on when it already was a difficult step to start to go somewhere. So, but please keep trying. And if you find somebody and it doesn't click, start looking for a new one, but keep going to that one, because sometimes, and I've experienced the therapists where we feel like, I don't like this person, it doesn't seem for me, are usually the people that can help us best, because there's a, you know, like there's a resistance, there's an interesting stuff there. Maybe you need the antagonism. It's not easy. Finding help, it's not easy, no matter how everybody makes it seem. Okay, so good luck, and I hope this helps, and stay strong, and have a very nice day. See you, group 1. Bye. Then we go to group 2. Four of squares. Very interestingly, drags in group 1. This is all also security, stability. Let's see. Didn't I just pull this card in group 1, the same? The planning? Yes? Okay, glad these cards are different. And this card is exactly the same as group 1. So these cards are the same, and for me this card means the same as group 1. Oh my god, am I in a loop? Am I continuously in group 1? It's Groundhog's Day. My video. Shit. No, so there's a distinction. I think in group 1 it was more about the cycle, getting out of the sort of the vicious cycle. There's something else going on here. Same sort of concept story. Stability, security, building, planning, but then a lot of failure here and a lot of disappointment. So a lot of trying and a lot of failing. Oh, yeah. This is anxiety. It's like obsessively thinking about how you're gonna fail, about disappointments. This is about, yeah, comfort zone. This is about comfort zone. This is your comfort zone. This is safety. And what you do is this magical thinking of you plan ahead, and first of all, you have this compulsive thinking about all the things that can go wrong and all the ways that you can be disappointed. And maybe there's this was what a lot of people have, is where they think like, if I think beforehand of all the things that can go wrong, they don't happen to me. If I think out the worst case scenarios, they don't happen. Or you just are very obsessed with like, you plan ahead and say like, ooh, I want to do this, and you can't help but just looking at all the problems that can arise, all the disappointment that can happen, and maybe like putting yourself down a lot, like probably not for me, probably this is gonna happen, probably I'll fail at this, probably I'll be the one that, maybe a lot of this where you do that, like self-fulfilling prophecy thing very badly, where it's like, let's say there's this class and they say everybody passes, there's this easy class and everybody passes, and your brain just goes to like, I'll be the one that fails. I'll be the one that doesn't, you know what I mean? I'll be that sucker that fucks it up somehow. Yeah, things like that. That's a security mechanism you have to prevent yourself from disappointment, to prevent yourself from being put in uncomfortable situations where the emotional distress is really high. Again, this is kind of tricky to talk about, guys, because where it all starts is, this goes back somewhere like long ago. This is programmed thinking. The first thing I want you to realize is that if you have that tendency or that compulsion of if I don't think of the worst case scenarios before I try something that keeps me safe, then they won't happen. You are doing magical thinking. You need to just accept that. You are doing magical thinking. You think that if you think about something that you determine the outcome of a situation. And guess what? You do. You do. Self-fulfilling prophecy is very real. Freud already wrote about this and other people, and it's already been documented many, many, many times that there are people who have more accidents, more disasters, more bad things come on their path than is statistically possible. So our thoughts subconsciously do determine the outcome of things, okay? Magical thinking is real. The point here is, group 2, you need to start using it at your advantage. Right now, you're using it to keep yourself in a safe zone, and this is important. Let's say you go in a situation and there's a realm of possibilities that can happen. Positive, negative. Wait, looking at the camera, so for you, right is then positive, negative. Makes more sense? Yeah. Okay. So what you do is you see the goal, and then you start looking at the worst case scenarios that can happen. So, because your magical thinking says, if I preemptively think about all the bad things that can happen, then I'm a little bit more safer here. I'll guard myself. I'm more aware of thinking about this. And this is already a very important part of what's happening. This is the power of where you put your focus on. You are training your brain to see the bad things from possibly happening. It's like beforehand, when let's say you go into the jungle and you're telling your brain, this is what a tiger looks like, this is what a snake looks like, this is what a spider looks like. Like you're programming for you to spot the dangers in the jungle. So your brain is ready to see it wherever it goes. That's where all your focus is going on, okay? That's fine. The jungle is a dangerous place. But what is actually also happening is while you're focusing so much on on avoiding that negativity, you are not putting energy on finding and looking and accepting all this positivity. You are narrowing the field of what can happen to you. So when you go into this venture, you get a safe, lackluster gray zone of nothingness. Nothing amazing ever happens, nothing really bad never happens. Not never, maybe sometimes, but there's this lack of actually enjoying it, an actual passion. And a part of that is because you're putting already your brain into this look for danger, look for problems mode, and you are in the situation with that hat on. Same jungle analogy. Okay, the jungle is scary. However, you could also be focusing on there are jewels in the jungle. There are beautiful flowers in the jungle. There are super cool herbs and remedies in the jungle. There are beautiful things there. There could be something really magical there. And then when you go into the jungle, your brain is trained to find these things, to find the good possibilities, the actual fortune, the actual things you want, that you enjoy. Right? And then you also get more of it. But then, what you do is the self-fulfilling prophecy, and this is self-sabotage thing that happens. So let's say you just blindly follow my advice. And say like, you know what, I'm going to go into that jungle, I'm only going to think about all the positive things now, and it's going to work. Yes, but then you're also going to get killed by a snake or a spider. Because deep down inside of you, there is a part that will not allow you to do this. Because it's saying, when you would follow my advice blindly, that part inside of you is saying like, oh, no, that's danger, danger, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how dangerous that is. I'm going to prove that to you. How foolish this is. This is trained. That part inside of you that wants you to, that sabotages you, does it for a reason. You need to find out why. That you need, again, help with this. You need to find out why. Do I keep myself safe this way? Where have I learned this? Is it true? You need to start fundamentally retraining that part that says like, no, that's unsafe. You need to start, is it unsafe? Why do we think it is unsafe? What is our actual experience? What are we building on? Who has taught us this? With our experience, is it right or wrong? Like, if we just look at our situation objectively, with all the experience we have, is this belief false or correct? That's not easy, guys, because to get to that objective place, you need to get to, this is an emotional part. And there's nothing logical about emotional healing. That's why you need help. That's why you need somebody to talk to. You need to write. You need to at least talk out loud, because trust me, thinking your way does not work. You need to talk out loud, you need to write, you need to talk to somebody where the words go out into the world and get gravity. You'll be surprised at how easy that works. When you talk out loud, you immediately hear how illogical some of your thoughts are being, while in your head it doesn't feel illogical. A lot of our thoughts are so reflexmatic, they're so fast that that a lot of the times we forgot that we even think certain thoughts that we make choices. We forget because we're so into this reflex. Right? Yeah. There's a lot more like here that I could say to in the way this works. It's like the magical thinking, the obsessive thinking of failure, of like seeing yourself fail, stage fright, kind of things. I have this still really bad. It's a focus problem. It's like when I try to sing or play on my instrument and I try to do it right. The moment I'm sort of in the zone and doing it right, suddenly my focus goes all the way to what other people might think of it or the end result, and then I fuck up. And it's this obsessive having to think about others' opinion or what other people think about this. And that's, again, it's mind-boggling, because I can get very angry at myself when it happens, because I don't even care about those people. Those people have never ever been nice to me. They will never ever say a nice thing to me. Why should I even be bothered about what they think? It doesn't even matter. And why am I not just here enjoying the moment? Because I know it feels good, but it feels like a self-sabotage, right? But again, something is scared there, it's a lack of, like, I think I do it because there's a deep need for approval somehow, and because the opposite happened, it's I think I learned to fuck up or to lower the bar so that I would get approval, because because in the surroundings where I grew up doing something really well, didn't get good feedback. That I get responses like, "Who do you think you are?" and wait until you fuck up, and then when you did fuck up, they would laugh at you extra because, like, you were the big man before, look at you now. Stuff like that. So you kind of learn to sabotage yourself, because the moment in my head, I go to what are other people seeing, it's like I know deep down that when I would do the very best and I would nail it, I would do the best version of maybe a song or something ever, I would get no love. But when I fuck up, I get attention. They talk about it, they notice it, they laugh about it, they make a joke about it, they remember it the next year, they remember it 10 years later, they remember it 20 years later. You remember how you fucked up there? But as a child, that's better than absolutely nothing, than silence and getting hated for being good. That was my mini self-analysis. I'm gonna leave it there. It was a lot. I hope this helped, really. If you want more personalized help, find me via Etsy. Describe your situation in a little bit more detail, and I will try to tell you what I know, tell you what I can, help to guide you. Or buy some crystals, it works even if you don't believe. Thank you, group 2. Have a very nice day. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in another reading or in another moment. Bye. Hello, group 3. Group 3. Let's see what we can talk about here. I'm gonna try to do this differently than the first two groups. They were very serious, very broad still. I'm gonna try to make this a very precise story. I want more card read fun. Reading cards is fun. Making it into hard work. Or this is very triggering for me, I don't know. The last group ended very personal note there. Gonna be some crying in the shower later. Thank God for showers. Ooh, it's kind of like a shower here. Shower. Cold shower. Cold shower. I'm just gonna say it. This is my 9 of Wands reversed guy, so our player guy. Player, but still be very literally taken here. Literal. Could still mean anything. Oh my God. Then I got more green. It's cool how they're all color matching this reading. It's swear there are more colors in this deck. Now I'm starting to doubt that. No, I'm pretty sure there are. I've played PlayStation. I know what the colors look like. I'm having amnesia here, guys. I'm really like lacking a second. Is my glass clean? Let's see. Another downward arrow. Queen of Wands. Not so confident. You're giving up. You've given up. Oh, this is the past. I've tried a lot. Been trying a long time. You don't feel good about yourself. You feel very confident. You feel very defeated. Oh, guys. 6-6. Okay, group 3. First of all, I am so sorry because you have been trying, and you've been trying a lot, and you've been trying for a long time, and nothing seems to work. Shit. You've been trying to find a solution for something. You've been trying to find a solution. You've been trying to fix. I'm just gonna go with this queen here, this thing. Low self-esteem. You don't like yourself. You think you're ugly. You think you think your body's not nice. You think, yeah. I think here, guys, like that's where I'm going with. Body-wise, like anorexia, maybe bulimia, but when you have body dysmorphia, like bodybuilders or weightlifters, and no matter what you do, it's never enough. You don't feel good enough. There's still self-hate. Maybe I'm gonna no. Okay, wait. Okay. So how am I gonna say this? I'm taking my time to find the right words here because I know what you need to do. I know the solution. First of all, there's a solution. The best thing. Oh, that was a weird sound. That's kind of matched what I was going to say. The best thing you can do or do is give up here. Give up. Stop trying to feel better. Stop trying to be better. Stop trying to be more beautiful. Stop trying to not hate yourself. Stop trying. Just give up. Give it up. Accept it. If I can, there's one place where I want you to be is in the acceptance, in the surrender. Even if it is for a minute, even if it is for 30 seconds. You need that relief. That's why you give up. This is what is happening, I think. You try, I don't know, no example. You're just trying for something and then you kind of give up. Because it's this weird cycle of you've been to so much disappointment and no matter what you do, it doesn't work. So why would you keep going, right? If let's say you want to feel better about your body and you go to the gym and you keep going to the gym and you run and you do diet and nothing works and you still feel awful about yourself. You're not going to hold on here. Why would you keep doing something that doesn't deliver results? You give up. Which gives relief. It feels really good. It's like, oh, a lot of energy that I could just let go and I can just sort of stop fighting this feeling I have. Stop fighting. You give up, maybe you accept it even. Hey, I'm ugly. I have an ugly body. That's a moment of relief. And that's also a moment where you are one with yourself, or almost one with yourself. This is very, like, I know this very well. I've been through this. I'm still going through this a couple of times, especially with going to the gym. I was in this very bad. I hated myself. I hated my body. I had very late puberty. I grew up really fast. I was clumsy, hunched over, overly skinny, knocking everything over, hitting his head on everything. I couldn't catch a ball. I didn't have abs, no matter what I tried, guys. No matter what I tried. I swear to God, since I was 10 years old, maybe, I wanted it. And I think I've done 20,000 million sit-ups before I was 12. I've done every sport. I did tennis, I did combat sport, I did and then I go to the gym, so many things. I did sit-ups in my room, before bed, in the morning, everything. No app ever appeared. It didn't work. Nothing I did worked. And also, most of all, I could never, because, like I was late in my puberty, so I was grasping for something to make me feel like a boy. Strong boy. And nothing ever worked. And I tried for a long time, and a lot of things. And nothing ever gave me actually what I really wanted. And the best moment I ever came to in my life is where I realized how awful I was being to myself by doing this. No, just I was going to the gym a lot. And actually there was a time in my life where I went to an extremer place maybe, or I pushed it and I started getting results and I started becoming really muscular. I was really muscular at one time. I wore over 100 kilos. And I still didn't look the way I wanted to. I still saw something in the mirror that was not what I wanted to. I felt misshapen. I still didn't have these abs that I always wanted. I was unhappy. I didn't like my proportions, whatever. I wasn't enjoying it. That extremeness led to an injury. And led to my body reacting really badly. And I busted my knee because it got inflamed and it stayed inflamed too long. And I had to recover for that. And it took a long time because this knee was like a bit fucked up. And luckily, after a while, I found somebody who explained to me that this is a very systematic problem that I had. It started at my feet, the way my feet touched the ground, the way I pushed through my legs, through my calves, through my knees, the way my hips align, the way my core stands up, that hunchbacking, that leaning over, that little bit of leaning over that you do, it fucks up your entire posture, right? So I started there and I quit with everything and I built it up from the ground with orthopedic soles, and very simple exercises. And the best thing I did there was like lose all that muscle, because what happens is when you train your body with a bad posture, you're actually training your muscles to your bones grow by the amount of pressure that is exerted on them. That's why when astronauts go into space, their bones get brittle, because they miss the gravity. And this gravity, this pressure, is actually a key component to making bones grow. Okay, so when you hit your bone a lot on the same spot, that will get thicker, it will get ossified, because they react to the amount of pressure that's there. So when you train a lot and you have bad posture, your muscles are pulling on these bones in a not so natural way, and they're actually like, after a while, these bones start malforming because of the pressure that is exerted constantly. That's why you get a lot of joint problems that don't go away so easily, because actually your body grew to this like maybe not so functioning state. After a long time, like this was a big like took me a long time, but the cool part is I fixed this. I came at this moment where I said, holy hell, what am I doing? Because I also recognized the body shaming I was doing to myself and the self-hate that I was doing. My body, just me, a conversation between me and my body. I am making my body work so hard, and not just the gymming. It has to go to school and does all the studying and do the working and do the gymming with too little sleep, with bad food I'm giving it, with and then I'm hating it. Then it's doing all these things for me, and I'm looking at my body and I'm saying, I don't like that. I don't like that. Why are you like this? Why can't you be like this? Why can't I get abs? Why are you stupid, body? Why is it like this? Why is it not like you? I don't like this. You know, you're constantly telling this body that is doing everything for you. From the day you were born, your body does everything for you without, like asking why. It just does it. And then you keep telling it how awful it is and how ugly it is and how wrong it is. And then you expect your body to feel good. The moment I realized that I was being the worst person that ever lived to my own body, I stopped. I said, no more. I'm not going to start training again until I go into the gym and do this for fun. And I go in there loving my body and just wanting to have fun with my body, right? Never and ever, ever again am I going to go into a gym because I think my body's not enough and I need to fix something. Because that's self-hate. And that's built on a fundament that will never work. Because you're proving to yourself over and over again that what you are at the core is not enough. And it's not good. You see? You need to stop and reset in a fundamental way. And let me tell you, I got the results that I wanted. I started feeling, I love myself now in a way that I never thought possible. And just by walking taller and focusing on that and focusing on rewarding my body and being there for all the pains it's having, it changed my body. And I look now so much better than I ever thought I would. I got muscles and abs without going to the gym the way I always wanted to, just by walking tall, walking upright, using your stretching your toes. And when you're really tall like me, that's difficult, walking upright, because you do hit your head on things, right? And the world is just not designed for that. So it's difficult to autocorrect. And this has a deep psychological factor, or at least for me it had. Walking upright, it made me reactively pull my neck in. I'm expecting a slap on my head. And it's like a reflex that's very hard to get out. So in the least, like I'm walking really straight and something triggers it and I can't help it, but my neck just shrinks like this. the back of your neck, which is usually tied to your past. Like this gets really tense, like the thing that pulls your skull, like in the back, that's like usually you're in the past. Extra information. Give up because what you're doing is not working. You need to fundamentally change this. You don't like yourself. You don't love yourself. Accept that first. That's where it starts. Recognize what is going on. Do not leave that part alone while you're trying to fix it. Do not fix yourself because you will forever be alone. And this will not go away because you're not there with you. This is you. The person that doesn't like itself. That's you. Start there. And this is the beautiful part, guys, because we think, I want you to listen to me very carefully. We think that accepting defeat here means that accepting, let's say you want your body to be nice, like let's say for me, I want my abs. When I accepted defeat and I said, stop, this is not working, a part of me believed that like, okay, I guess I'll just have to accept that I'll never have abs, that I'll always be that guy. That I'll never be that guy. That's just not for me, right? Give that up. But you have to be prepared to give it up. You have to say like, look, this is not worth me hating myself so much for this. It's just not worth it. If I have a life without ever having abs, then that is shitty for me, but that's not the worst thing ever, right? Carry on with your life. But then the interesting questions come. Why is having these abs so important? That's the trapdoor that you need to get to. Let's say you've always wanted to be beautiful. You always wanted to be a more beautiful girl because you felt like an ugly duckling. If you can accept for a moment and not judge yourself for feeling ugly and saying, well, I'm not the most beautiful girl. And maybe I'm an ugly girl. And I hate it. If you can just accept that and just stop fighting it. Like, okay, I'm ugly. I'm ugly. I'm ugly. This is where I'm at. I'm ugly. And then ask yourself, but why is that so important to me? Why can't I go on being an ugly person? No? Why can't I accept that fate? If you can find that why, you'll realize that this is not important at all. There's something deeper behind that. And usually the answer has to do with, because when I was in school, the pretty girls got attention and friends, and I didn't. So you don't give a shit about how pretty you are. You really don't. You just want to be close to people. You want people to not go away. So when guys who want to be stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, they don't really want to be strong. They actually deep down, they want to be weak and be allowed to be weak. But they learn somewhere that when you're weak, people go away and they don't like you. And when you're strong, people stay. So they do it to keep people around. But if you keep digging in this, you'll realize that that's not true. That's a fallacy. And hey, maybe there is truth to that. Beautiful people do get a lot of attention. But you also have to start asking yourself, is that good attention? Do beautiful people actually have better friends? No, they usually have more shallow friends. They actually usually have a more difficult time finding good friends. They usually get used a lot. They usually get more superficial, shallow comments and attention that's really not fun to deal with. So their quality of life is by no means better. You're putting weight in the wrong things, but most of all, you think that what you're giving up is actually important to you, and it's not. There's a trapdoor. You need to figure out why. Please get help with this. Talk to somebody. Find somebody who you can just regularly spar with this about. Write in a journal. This is deep stuff. Okay? Yeah. please just accept the worst case scenario, and you'll and I promise you from the core of my heart that it's not the truth, but you need to accept it, because a part of you believes it, and you need to stand one with it. You need to say, okay, this part of me, you really believe that we're a monster and we're bad for that, right? And then you say to that part, I'm so sorry. That's fucking awful. But here we are looking at it. It exists. And you be there for that part for a second instead of always running away from it, because it's always going to fail. Because you can't run away from yourself. Yeah. Loving yourself starts with little things. And if you can see that you've been not loving yourself, that's a really powerful move. That's already the biggest self-love step you can take, is by realizing when you're doing it wrong. That's enough, okay? Your body still will do everything for you, okay? But trust me, your body does a lot more when you start actually loving it and rewarding it and complimenting it. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed what can change beyond your belief. Beyond your belief, beyond what you think is possible. It's all possible. I'm right here telling you. But first you need to love the ugly parts, because they're there and they need you. Thank you. If you like a private reading or something, go to Etsy, contact me, my email, leave a comment. Other people need to hear your experiences too. It's really important. I can tell you how often times a YouTube comment has just like helped me understand some things, or just to know there's a voice out there that is thinking exactly the same as you can be so healing. To know that, because then you know that what you're going through is normal. You're not a freak. You're not weird. You're not broken. You're reacting in a normal way to difficult situation or to bad circumstances. There's nothing wrong with you, right? Thank you, group 3. See you around. Bye. No, group 4. You chose the green triangle. Me seeing a deck of wands. I usually see it. A mountain, an upside down mountain, climbing a mountain, falling down a mountain. Down. Group 4. Okay. First the cards out. Trying to get more concise stories out so it's not vague. Prefer to let the cards do the talking. Shit. Okay. Group 4. What do we need to know for group 4? Obsessive-compulsive problems. Obsession. I just want to listen to Shakira when I sing. What's the sound going? Obsession. Am I done? Wow. I need to breathe. You need to breathe. Yeah, you need to breathe. Pressure. That's what I'm getting here. You're under pressure. Yes, you're under pressure. Something went wrong. Defeat. Yeah, something is lacking. Something went wrong. Something went wrong. You're under pressure. Ooh, what is that? 3 in the end, 3 zeros. 3 red lights, 3 zeros. Normally it's for me the card of companionship. Passion. Pressure. Wow. I'm feeling the pressure because I'm not getting this. What is this? Let me look at you. Oh. Okay. I think I know where this is going. Okay, before I'm getting, you have problems with social interactions, with handling other people. Really funny, look at this little dot here. And then I got in my brain, it went like, oh, they like to put the dots on the eyes. Meaning you're perfectionist, you feel a lot of pressure. And I think social interactions cause you a lot of pressure. It's very, because these things are sloppy and that it makes it very difficult for you. I have no context here, so I don't know where you're coming from. If it comes from, like very neurotic thinking or phobia, social phobia, or maybe, also when you're depressed, you can get very overstimulated. So being around people can become a lot. Maybe from a manic state, hypomanic state, you can interrupt people a lot. Or just want to notice a lot of people or correct a lot of people or get very annoyed. This could come from OCD, like when you go into people's house and things are not according to your way, you need to have that control. But anyways, it's damaging your social relationships. You're lonely. It's very hard for you to establish connections, to make connections, and to maintain connections. And maybe you have connections, but it's very difficult for you to really use them or really feel the connection. Maybe you have like a social circle, but you really are lacking the connection. And in your problem here, you feel very left alone. So maybe social interactions are a huge challenge for you, or people, maybe it's like people don't like you because you're very like perfectionist. I want to say anal, correcting people or wanting it a certain way or your way, or you're very rigid in your way, you're very difficult, like maybe because you have certain phobias or like certain behaviors that makes it difficult for you maybe to travel a lot or to go on holidays with your friends, so you can't go with them, or you wouldn't want to try that because if you then have problems, then they would all have to suffer, and you a shame. I feel shame here. Feel shame. That's part of it. I think part of it is just in general, even when you get the people, it's for you, it's a challenge to actually feel safe around somebody, trust somebody, allow this part to be shown, to be understood. And at the same time, it's maybe you have the friends, but there's still this factor of shame where you, and this could be in reality, like based on experiences, right? Let's say you have some good friends and they know this part about you, but when it comes out, it's not fun for them. It's not fun for them. So you do feel kind of guilty and ashamed for it, even though maybe your friends are saying, hey, it's no big deal, we understand. It's like, you don't have to, we'll take care of you. You still feel that you're putting pressure on them and you're making it not nice. You're ruining something. These kinds of things, not all of them. I'm just swimming in the sea of my armpits. Oh, damn it. Shame on you if you can't dance too. What can I tell you here? Drop the pressure. That's easier said than done, but there's the component here where the actual, all the worrying about it and the pressure is making it worse. Second of all is staying in your comfort zone. Okay. A part of this, guys, has to do with boundaries and speaking up for yourself and negotiating better. Let's say you have friends and they ask you, let's go out, let's have a fun night together. And you want to go, however, you also realize, oh, this friend doesn't live very close. And if I get a panic attack here, it's far away, maybe I'll have a panic attack and that'll ruin the night. And you know that these panic attacks come from being farther away from home. You have this thing with, you know that you need to be able to get home at any time. Because you have these panic attacks and you're just like, I don't know, something like that. So these friends ask you out, you want to go, but you're also like, oh, what if I have a panic attack? That'll ruin the night. So you kind of say no because you don't want to make it a problem. But the big problem here is that you feel like if you say yes, you're obliged to be there all night and do things according to their way. And what you need to learn is that you say that there's a middle way. You need to find the and. You need to say, okay, I want to go, I want to see my friends, and I want to know that I can leave at any time. Then you say that. You say to your friends, yes, but I maybe can't stay long. Maybe it's a really short visit. Tell them straight, very direct. It's like, look, I get anxiety. I need to know that I can leave at any time. This is weird. This may sound weird for you, but for me, it would make it a lot better if I can come over and I just know that I can leave at any time without having to say much, and that you will understand. And I will bet you 10 out of 10 times people will say, I understand. Okay? And then maybe when the night is over and you want to leave, they're like, oh, where are you going? Ignore them. It doesn't matter. First of all, that means they just like you and they want you there. Okay? And they don't care that if you go away, then it's not like they're gonna punish you or dislike you. No. They just don't like that their friend leaves. But you have made a pact to yourself. If I feel bad, I'm going to leave. You follow that pact and you will be amazed at how this relationship with yourself and with the world changes. It's about trust. First of all, self-trust needs to be here. You need to be able to engage with social interactions in a safer way for yourself. That means before you engage in social interactions, you tell yourself at any given time, if this feels bad or I feel overwhelmed or I don't feel good, I leave. No matter how rude it may seem, okay? You just, like let's say you meet this person and in 5 minutes you're like overwhelmed and I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home. You say to that person, I'm so sorry, I really don't feel well. I want to go home right now. You don't owe any more explanation, okay? Train that part in yourself. Do it. The moment you establish this trust better in yourself, where you take yourself out of situations, the moment you feel uncomfortable, where you keep following your own guiding system before social norm, stop feeling guilty about hurting other people. You're not doing it, not at all. Where you need to become better in is communicating it. Because by not communicating, that's where you're hurting people. These friends that are calling you over, if you just say no all the time, that's where you're hurting people because they feel like you don't like them. They miss their friend. If you can just say, I wish I could see you more, but I have this huge anxiety problem and it's kind of difficult for me. At least now they know. And also they know you're having a difficult time. And maybe you'll be surprised at what friends can do for you just by knowing this and accepting this about you. Speak up. Negotiate with people. If you're, I wanted to say your mom, but let's not go into your mom. That's like difficult. It's like can be difficult. But just, you meet a friend for coffee. You just want to grab a coffee. You think about it. Do I want this? Yes, but I also want to be home really fast. Then you say, I have 15 minutes. Is that okay for you? You can take it or leave it. Or maybe you'll say like, oh, is half an hour also good? And you can say like, okay, I can do that. But still, if after 15 minutes you say, don't feel good, you're allowed to leave. You're allowed to leave. You're not a bad person. Nobody's going to judge you. In fact, and this is a tip I can give you, when you do this with people, and no matter how rude it seems, that's why you have to say it. That's why you have to be polite in your way of saying it. Don't over-apologize. Never over-apologize. Apologize once in a sincere way. You say, look, I'm so sorry. I know this is like shitty for you, but I feel so bad right now. I just really want to go home. Just once. It's hard to just apologize once. I hope you can understand. Don't need more. You don't owe them any more explanation than that. If you just say like, hey, I just want to go home right now. There's a reason that has nothing to do with you. I'm so sorry. This is recognize that this is inconvenient for you. Recognize that you're putting somebody else out. Respect that, right? But also respect yourself. First of all, respect yourself. If that other person throws a fit about this and says like, well, this is kind of shitty for me. Now I'm all alone here. You say like, really, like, I wish I could stay, but I feel so bad that I need to go home. Okay? You're going to have this conflict a couple of times. And in that time, I want you to just calmly think what is happening. You are communicating to somebody. I feel so bad right now. I need to get out. I'm in pain. And this other person is saying, yeah, but that's annoying for me if you leave. I'd rather you stay and be in pain. That doesn't make sense. You leave. That's self-respect. That's self-love. That's the basis. Start by that. You're gonna challenge this in yourself a couple of times. That's why you need to keep, it's gonna be uncomfortable a couple of times and annoying. It's never gonna be dangerous. It's never going to be that heartbreaking. You're just gonna run into, when you start training this in yourself, the self-trust, you're gonna run into a couple of situations where you are actually feeling fine and it's great, and suddenly this anxiety comes up and your inner guide says, leave now. Sometimes these are a bit of a test, because this part of you really wants to know if it can trust you or not. Can I really trust you, or are you only doing this because you're getting good things out of this? Or do you really, really follow me? Everybody does this. Every single person on the planet does this. Every child does this. Every animal does this. They test these boundaries. With children, with animals, when they get new caretakers, they test these boundaries again. And after a while, they test them once again. Or what children do is they'll fuck up and they want to, especially with children or with people who grew up with different caretakers, also animals, when you have different caretakers. So you have a mom and dad and then they disappear. And then there's a new mom and dad or a caretaker and then they disappear. And then somebody new comes, a caretaker, and they start telling you what to do again. You're gonna test those limits. You want to see how fast this one leaves again. See how fast he goes. Because they all leave. What's the point? And even when that person says, I promise I won't leave, you're gonna test that. And sometimes they leave. And sometimes it's not correct what you did. But you stop blaming yourself for testing that. It's normal human behavior. I've seen it in patients. I've seen it in autistic people. They all do it. It's normal. You're gonna test it. You test it because you need to test it. Because you've seen how people betray you and fail you in this way. And you're not joking around. When people take this too lightly, they're not taking your pain, they're respecting your pain. And for other people, it's hard to understand. That's why you need to have this self-trust. You need to back yourself up no matter what. You know, you walk into the best date of your life and everything is amazing, and they just offered you the lucky lottery ticket, and you're gonna meet really cool people, you get an anxiety attack, you get yourself out of that situation. Even if it's to the bathroom, to the outside, you tell the president and Lady Gaga and whoever's in front of you, I'm so sorry, I really feel unwell right now, I'm just gonna go take my outside for a second. and see how fast this changes your life when you start doing the self-trust exercise. When you get that good, when you get the self-trust good, then you can start learning to trust other people. But before this, no way, Jose, this is gonna work out well. You self-trust first. Same with other groups, please find somebody to work on this with, or to talk to. Doesn't have to be much, guys. Like anybody who you feel comfortable with. An objective party where you can talk out loud is all you need. A good crystal to talk out loud to, fine. But talk out loud, write, do not keep it in your head. No of these. Draw, sing, dance, any form of expression that involves being in the actual world, not in your head. Because in your head, things are not. The logic is flawed. Okay? I hope this helps. If you would like a private reading or some advice, please see on Etsy. I cannot offer you therapy for this. You need to really work on this. You need to find somebody. I prefer face-to-face for this. Continuously work with, talk to. However, I feel like I'm good at helping people figure out where they're at and how they can start by, like what the best places is to start, or to see things in a bit of a different perspective, you know, with a bit more of a holistic view maybe, because in a lot of Western medicine cases, you do go into a system where people follow guidelines, follow rules, follow traps, and it gets very unpersonal. And I feel that's where a lot of their problems start. So you need to personalize it, and you're the only person that can do that. You know what I mean? Everybody in the world everybody you've ever met walks around with a version of you that is not true. So think about that. You're the only one. The only idea of you that you have to worry about is the one that you have. Right? Yes. Okay, group 4, thank you for watching. I hope this helps. I hope you feel better. Please leave a comment, share your experiences. It helps other people tremendously. Like, share, subscribe. That will help me. And I hope you have a very nice day. Bye.